Hey everyone, Wander here, and welcome to Heroes of Hammerwatch 2, or welcome back to it if you caught my previous coverage. I streamed a bunch of this back when it had first come out, really enjoyed it, and I then stopped because, I don't know, I got other games to play, and more or less hit the end of what was available content-wise. But the developers have been actually adding a fair bit to this game, so I figured I'd come back and play a little bit more. Let's see, melee hits against bosses and elites gives a chance for killing spree. Ooh, that's good. Yeah, let's go for that one. Go from here, take less damage for at least a little while. Perfect. Yeah, originally the developers were gonna kind of get the game stable and then leave it at that and stop updating the game. But I think they got kind of an external publisher to come in and say, actually, ooh, weapon and spell crit damage. These are all very good. Dragon Lord is amazing, just tricky to pull off, whereas Rings of Recovery is just awesome. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for the heavy regen, especially if I'm playing this solo. I am very powerful, maybe too powerful for this point in the game. This is a character that almost got to New Game Plus, and then died, like, kind of on the last fight, so I figured Alright, I should remember what this character's abilities are. So I got Whirling Axes, which is like big damage. Get this? Another Ring of Rejuvenation. Okay. So that's Warcry, which gives me big stat bonuses. When is it? I'm trying to remember. Which is the one that... Oh, no. R used my potion. That's Warcry. That's Whirling Axes. How do I trigger this move? It's been a little bit, and I haven't looked. And I don't have the muscle memory for it baked in, because it's been a little while. Let me just double check. Controls? Keyboard and mouse. Skill 3 is just... Oh, it's 4. So it's this. Nope. I think I need to rebind my mouse. It is assuredly not 4. Okay, I'm gonna have to poke at my settings for a smidge. I reset this so that it was based on my mouse. But 3? I'll have it as either 3 or 4. Okay, we'll figure that out. Let's see, what was I going to say? I don't know, mildly distracted. Trying to remember how to play, but also like mixing the controls is confusing. Okay, that's the hook. Yeah, having it on 3 is fine for now. I've got one of those, like, fancy gamer mice. But some of the hotkeys get a little funky, especially if I swap them around from, like, a game-by-game basis. And isn't too much of an issue. Okay, there we go. Don't think I have... Okay, it's the bottom bar button to do the roar. I think I'll probably just have it as like Q&A. Alright, so what was I going to say with any of this stuff? I'm wandering around. So if you haven't seen this before, it is a, dungeon crawler roguelike, with some degree of like ARPG-ishness, some degree of ARPG-like gameplay, some degree of your standard like roguelike, mid-run progression systems. So we've been finding trinkets that carry over from run to run. I could go through that if I want to. That's the level skip and lets me skip biomes if I want to go faster. Might not be a bad idea. I am a little overpowered for this, and so being able to skip ahead a little might actually not be a bad idea. Even just like one biome would probably be good enough. The only problem is if I skip like too many biomes, then we skip a lot. So I think I'm just going to kind of cruise through this even if I'm overly powerful. Not that the levels are like heinously difficult or challenging or anything. But doing the full run, I think, at least it usually just gives you the most amount of loot. It just takes longer. Okay, Hunter 4. That actually does give me like loot and special abilities? I mean, more or less special abilities. Completing achievements here actually has like a tangible benefit to the game, which is something I think I really like about this game, and part of the reason why I want to come back to it. That and other reasons. because there's kind of that really solid feeling of everything you do matters, everything you achieve matters. So anywhere from gathering resources to leveling characters to completing achievements to playing alts. They all have different bonuses in some way, shape, or form that I find deeply compelling in a way that like most games don't even come close to matching. Boar's kind of tanky. Oh, there's a thing back here. I think that's just experience, but still. It does kind of have, what did I say? There is a semblance of lack of build crafting. Semblance. Unfortunately, a lot of the like items and equipment you get, you just are like handed a thing. And so it's kind of luck if you actually get the build you're going for. Often you can still do things to like tweak it. There are shops you can buy a couple items on. Every once in a while something else will give you a little bit more. And so it's not like you're fully locked into a bad build just because the game has decided to give you the stuff you don't want. It's just every once in a while there's something that's like extremely useful that you need to complete said build and it just doesn't show up at all. And that's fine. Okay. What do we have up here? What we're kind of trying to do, we want as much like golden experience. Oh. Golden experience as we can possibly get. I'll interact with the bird. The bird is the elevator system from the previous Heroes of Hammerwatch game. That's a permanent buff that I just got from that guy, which gives me some amount of status. I think Traveler's Feast just gives me more resources, but that's still good. But so when the Thunderbird shows up, you can interact with it, and it will take your resources and bring it back to base for you. Because otherwise, if you die during a run, you potentially lose all of those resources, and that sucks. So having any means of kind of retrieving those, well, sending those back without having to put them at risk is extremely nice. What this guy needs is, I mean, a lot of stuff. He's extremely tanky, does not die pretty much at all. Up until we get to the very end, at which point things maybe get a little spicy. Let's see, Apothecary's Tincture is quite good. I mean, pretty much everything is great. This has a slew of set bonuses, each of which can get pretty busted if you've managed to max them all out. There we go. Anything else? Yeah, there it is. So these orbs are part of the reason why I didn't want to skip levels. Okay, so spike projectiles are now released at the end of the chains. So that means that they fire extra shots, which is pretty good. Each stack of Killing Spree gives a crit chance, which is quite good, or greater weakness. I don't use the spike chains amazingly much. I think I'm going to go for the Killing Spree Brutality, just because if I max that out, that's just a solid 20% crit chance on top of everything else, and that can be quite handy, even if the rarity isn't as good. Some other characters I go for more of like a ability focused build, but usually when I roll warrior, I'm trying to go for just regular auto attacks. Especially if like I'm rolling solo, I might honestly have to use the bow. Because I've got a strength bow equipped. I guess there's no reason for me to use that. My potion is completely maxed out. But yeah, if the bosses turn out to be too hard, I can hit the bow, like switch to that and fight enemies at a range. Which is kind of risky because I could get overwhelmed, but it's usually not a problem. Yeah, the reason why I want to go sword and board is it functionally gives me immunity to... it gives me functional immunity to anything, any projectile in front of me that can block those, which is extremely helpful. I think this means I can skip the cave system too, if I so chose. But I kind of want to do the cave system. I kind of want to do the full gamut, because I don't think this guy has combo orbs. And he kind of needs them. I mean, not overwhelmingly, it's just useful. Plus, again, the more resources I can snag, the better. Skipping stuff is good if I'm, like, really... if I'm being really hasty or if I'm really impatient. But... I got plenty of time, I think. We will see. I'm actually pre-recording this to kind of get my legs back under me. Get used to the game again? Okay, what do I want to pick? Spiderweb spits a web at a nearby enemy. No, I think we're going to go for the Amulet of Vigor. Because I don't really care deeply for the spider web setup. So that's one of the build crafting options where you actually do get to make a decision. Let's see. Oh, the boys. Yes. Come here, lads. Okay, so now I have minions. They're honestly terrible. They will die fast. It is always the goal to keep them alive for as long as possible, but they're not the most durable of folks, and they will absolutely walk into traps or big AoEs and whatnot, so it's... I don't know, I don't want to say like a meme trying to keep them alive. Kind of is. And yet, I will try every time. I guess the real trick would be to just leave them in the cave. They seem to just be camping out, so it's not like I'm rescuing them or anything. I'm not pulling an EDF-5 where it's like, I will take you to safety, and then eventually it's like, you're our best soldier. Okay, there's a secret. Yeah, the cave system also has a decent amount of secrets for me to grab. Cleansing breastplate. That's not what I was hoping for. I don't really need gear and equipment, at least not at this level. Melee hits against bosses and elites have a chance of getting... Oh, we want to grab Warcry Second Wind. So whenever I use Second Wind, this one, I recover 20% of my health. Which is extremely helpful at keeping me alive in the, like, later sections of the game. Okay. How are we doing? I want to make sure that we're not going too far here. Is that another one? I think that is another secret. It's also the way out. Okay, we get Amulet of Health. So I think that synergizes with the amulet I found earlier that gives me more HP. Which is why I have 720 HP now. I'm a beefy lad. Okay, I guess there are... Oh, there's a handful of enemies I missed there. Is there anything else? Just like a little bit of an offshoot and then we're good to go. Remember the first time I played this with my friends, none of us knew that these, like, stones on the ground specifically trigger the rocks fall. Or, like, the rockfall trap, and so we were triggering them left and right and just dying constantly. And it was not fun. I mean, it was fun, actually, just kind of in its own way. Oh, the minions actually are smart enough to avoid those now, kind of, sort of. Okay, so we can get Scavenger's Tools, increase in my iron gain, Headhunter Contract, extra damage against elites, draw a pile of gold. I do like the Book of Enlightenment. Actually, the Apothecary stuff isn't as good as I thought it was. So let's grab the Book of Enlightenment and the Mining Pickaxe, I think, for now. 20% experience is just helpful. I'm trying to get this guy up to maximum level, if I can. Well, not maximum level. I want to get him up into the 20s, if possible, over the course of runs. Because that's how you get skill points, that's how you get extra stat points, and New Game Plus is... Oh, they're completely immune now. I think they used to just get shredded by those. And it was annoying. That's the way down. We've also found a... Here, I can maybe show this off. there's kind of like a little bit of a divot on the wall to show that there's a secret there for people watching this and being like, how is he finding these things? Let's see. Random guys like, I'm going to pull Leroy. I mean, maybe it's fine. Maybe they're tougher than they used to be. Compared to me, they're very chump change. And yeah, secrets generally don't spawn in these, like, big single rooms. They're always in, like, area transitions, the larger rooms, or hallways and stuff. But the one problem I have with this character is they do not have much in the way of, like, good AoEs. Like, we've got the chain, and I've got the, like, throwable axes. But that's about it. I don't have, like, a good way of wiping a large group of enemies out simultaneously. Unless I do. No. So we have this axe requires 60 strength. Oh, does it do more damage? Oh, so the one thing that the sword has going for it is it has a 20% parry chance. So that's one thing you can very much go for with like a melee build on this one, is really stacking your dodge and parry and block abilities to the point where enemies can barely hit you. That part's extremely useful. I'm just going to send stuff off whenever I'm given the chance. Oh, this is just a refill my potions, but it won't let me there for some reason, and that's fine, because again, don't really need to. Here's the other secret. I think there's always 2 secrets per floor. Spell power is not amazingly good. Let's get our upgrade orb as well. Okay, whirling axes, do additional fire damage, melee hits and bosses. Yeah, let's just go for that one. Because we want to be able to keep our killing spree combo going. Is everything off? Is there anything else here? No. Yeah, small pile of gold, that's about it. I usually go for the caster characters because they are considerably... They're really good at clearing large groups in almost no time flat. This guy's pretty good at dealing with groups if you've got the two-handed axe, which I do not have. I don't think I've properly found a good one yet. Okay, that's that. We don't have anything to look for. I think I missed a bit of iron on the previous floor, and honestly, that's okay. So I can do a trade here. Yeah, I'm going to trade the wood for the stone. It's a good trade, and stone sells for more. Yeah, I'm trying to get as many resources as I possibly can. Is it just this guy? Yeah, it's just this guy in here. So no reason for me to stick around. Because upgrades are really expensive in this game, and also if I'm going to be playing this multiplayer, I want to be able to afford as many of the Architect's bonuses as I possibly can get. Alright, Dark Cave's Totem Pole. Now watch as my minions probably melt to death. Who knows, they might survive. I do a lot of damage, so I might be able to just wipe out the totem before all of my minions die. They actually heal. Oh, no. Yeah, it's the fire that usually kills them. And combo. So vulnerability enchant, a sword, a bunch of resources, throwing stars, a bow that I don't care about, and is this where, like, the goblins are coming from? Oh, maybe. Yeah, it is. I saw the arrows leading out of the environment and I got slightly confused. Alright, to the forest. Tier 2. I forget if there's no boss for this region. This just leads straight into the crypts. Yeah, the reason why I wanted to get combo is combo is huge, especially for the melee characters, but kind of for everybody. Combo gives you increased movement and attack speed, based on like how many enemies you've killed recently. I think it's like you charge it up and then it just keeps going as long as you're combo chaining, which is extremely helpful for, I mean, solo play, but also just like cruising through large groups of enemies. I think it also gives you some extra like regen and other stuff to keep you going. What I'd like to do is extend the duration of it if possible, but it's tricky to pull off. Yeah, it's a major reason why I was feeling so sluggish earlier is because I think the last time I played this, I hadn't unlocked combo for this character. So even though he's like kitted out to hell and back again to the point where he's utterly absurd, it just you still feel sluggish without that specific mechanic. I kind of wish once you unlocked combo once, you unlocked it for everybody, but hey. I mean, unless it's one of those that's true now, and I just, you know, since I haven't played this in a while, they've changed things around. Okay, anything else? They can handle themselves, apparently. I'm still trying to get as many resources as I possibly can. Oh. That's a bad. Yeah, I can more or less just mulch through at least large quantities of enemies pretty quickly. So do I want evasion? Do I want damage against elites? Or colliding with an enemy deals main hand damage and inflicts stun. Ooh, blackjack's kind of good, but I think I'm going to go for the... I think I'll go for the Crest of Triumph. Anything that has a set bonus is usually better. Extra melee damage, which is good if I max it out. Killing enemies with physical skills has a chance to trigger an explosion. Yeah. Yeah, I think we want to go for the Ruthlessness. We currently don't have much for AoEs, and that would be a handy way of doing it. Oh, get another bird. I'm gonna keep going down here. Alright, might as well drop things off of the Thunderbird every chance I'm given. Dang, they got some range. Book of Arms, weapon power, and yeah, if I max that out. Oh, that goes with the weapon, the Book of Spells that we had earlier. At least I think it does. Rude. How dare you hit my minions? They're my minions. Yeah, I don't think there's ever any secrets out in that area. At least not that I've ever seen. So, spell hits have a chance to stun, weapon crits inflict a stack of bleeding. Yeah, let's snag that. Spell crit chance. I really miss my frost orbs, just being able to toss those in and have those destroy an entire room's worth of stuff and get me all of the associated loot. It's super nice. Oh, there's an orb. Damage for projectiles. I guess let's grab the spike chain projectiles. Okay, yeah, those are pretty good. There's our secret. Maggot glands. Not my favorite. I'll grab it anyway. I'm still finding blueprints. That's a drink blueprint, too. things that I desperately need. Because yeah, there's a lot of stuff we did not unlock. I feel like when I was playing this with my friends, we might have cruised through this a little fast. And didn't get everything. But, I mean, it's a big beefy game. They might have also added more stuff with the updates. Who knows? And it's also one of those that, like, the game is playable up through, like, several layers of New Game Plus. I generally only go, like, 1 or 2 deep, just because there's not really much reason to go further than that. Like, there's always more gear to grind for, stats and abilities. And, like, other cool things to find. It's just, I feel like the novelty usually wears off after, like, X number of runs. Let's see. It's like a smidge of gold. Mostly trying to keep an eye out for any other secret passages. I swear this stage usually has at least 2, but I'm not seeing the other one if it exists. Unless you have to get close to it, which is entirely possible. I like the projectiles coming off of the spikes, but they're still kind of... They're still not, like, amazingly strong. Oof. And yeah, I've lost all but one lad at this point. That's okay, I was not expecting them to survive forever. This is why I like the shield. Those ice towers are kind of painful. Oh, we've got an imp somewhere on the map. Imps give, like, random loot or permanent buffs that are extremely good. I just have to find them somewhere. Oh, that's convenient. Symbol of deflection. I don't think I've seen that. Oh, you're still alive. And that's the end of my lads. That's good. They were kind of distracting anyway. Oh, I see the imp. So we should head down there. Because I don't think the imp lasts for forever. He does leave eventually. It's not that quick. Give me 12 metal. I'll take it. Yeah, it's not like you have to, like, immediately race for it, but it's still good to... go out of your... Oh, Dragon's Claw. Yeah, I'm glad I have gentle traps on. Don't run through those spike traps unless you have gentle traps, and even then, you generally want to be like a tanky boy to do so. Because, oh gosh, the amount of times that me or my friends have melted it ourselves, specifically trying to, like, blitz a trap field, the quantity is high and embarrassing. But with gentle traps on, and when you're playing as the extremely durable warrior, it's not nearly as much of a problem. So we are keeping an eye out for secrets. I'm not sure if I'm going to find any. Huh. I wonder how speedrunnable this game is. Probably very, just like everything else. Blessing of Wealth. So, yeah, if we go to our characters tab, we can check effects. So, Wealth gives us 50% more gold. Forger's Feast gives us more resources just in general. So, this is a good material farm run. Though, I think New Game Plus is, like, universally just better. Let's see. But since I'm not on a New Game Plus run, I'm not gonna grump over what resources I'm gaining. Also, don't think I've done a whole lot of New Game Plus runs at all. I think I have like 1, maybe 2 characters in New Game Plus 2. Now, my shield does not block traps. I did not remember that, but it makes sense. Oh. Each stacking... Oh, just increases your regen. Still good. Especially if I manage to stack my regen really high. There's our exit. So we found a secret here. Is that all we've got? If there's another one, I'm not seeing it. Girdle of Might is great because it gives us weapon crit life leech if we keep going. Yeah. Because weapon damage on its own is okay, but the parry chance, weapon crit chance, and weapon crit life leech are all extremely good in conjunction with each other. Okay, and I'm not seeing any divots in the walls in the main chambers, so if there's another secret, it's invisible to me. I don't know if they made it so that it's harder to see them from far away. And it kind of doesn't matter to me. Like, secrets are good. I think you're supposed to dash across the central one. A splitting axe, I think, pairs with the minor pickaxe that we found earlier. That is a good relic. And we should probably go back to this guy. I did talk to this guy earlier, right? I have no idea. So dash charge or evasion. I think I'm going to go for a dash charge. I know we've already got 3, but being able to just, like, zip around the map is huge. Okay, and this guy lets me do an exchange. So I could get rid of these for various things. I actually don't want any of these. Unfortunately, the trade guy is often worthless. In a way that is slightly unfortunate. I wish there were more of those, like, trade wood for better resource or trade resource for perk. Because perks are always good, especially in Heroes of Hammerwatch 2. Unlike in the previous games, I don't think they gave you too much of anything. But in this one, perks that you've acquired over the course of the run get turned into enchanting materials, which is just as valuable and hard to come by as, like, stone and iron and whatnot. There we go. I think there's a perk that makes it so that the Warcry also does damage. That wouldn't be a bad idea to invest into. If we see it go by. Okay. Not seeing too much else. Yeah, just keep breaking all the boxes and barrels. Yeah, I got plenty of time. Because I want to cruise through this entire run, if possible, before it's time to stream with my friends. We always start just a little late anyway. Let me see. Because I might as well mention for that. I'm starting to soft announce it. I will hard announce it a little bit later on. But so presumably streaming this with my friends. The VODs for that are going to go up on my side channel, Wanderbots, which I think I have linked on the main page of the channel at this point, including like playlists and whatnot. Maybe I'll put it on this one. I don't know. I've yet to kind of figure out how some of these VODs go. Because series will always go up on Wander VODs, but if it's like a one-off multiplayer roguelike, maybe I'll put it on the main channel. No, probably not. Not after this video. I've noticed with YouTube, there's like a really serious diminishing return effect that if I cover a game twice in short succession, unless it's a highly replayable roguelike, like say Ball Pit, where somebody could watch, damage per missing bit of health is quite good. Probably go for that, even though I'm not, like, missing much for health. Yeah. Missed something up here. It's just an experience scroll. Still go. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of experience though. Worth it, probably. Okay, we still have something all the way to the bottom. But yeah, so if I cover something in too short of a succession, it's either the algorithm doesn't promote the video, or people just aren't as likely to click on it. That, I don't know if I've generated an audience that like very much built an audience that very much craves novelty more than like consistency in a lot of cases, or if the algorithm is just like, you know, not as many people are clicking on this one, therefore this video is dead forever, which is more often than not the case. I found a secret. It's good enough. Time to fight. Oh, Shadowface. I actually do like the Shadowface boss fight. I think he's really cool. But yeah, the entire premise of this one, rather than hitting the boss, the goal here is to hit the cultists that are standing in these like red circles. Kind of ignoring everything else. But yeah, this is actually what determines how much HP they have. Or how much HP the boss has. I forget, can you get curse stacks from this boss? Maybe from those projectiles. It's been a little bit. So yeah, I think I will be putting the subsequent multiplayer VOD of me playing this with my friends. Assuming that happens today. Sometimes things get rescheduled. I can never promise everything. But I think that'll go up on Wanderbots. Yeah, I'm trying to slowly... So, I mean, I might as well talk about this here. I've been really demoralized by YouTube over the last year or two. More or less ever since they started pushing shorts as a primary content format, that YouTube was like, oh, TikTok is like the big thing. We are going to make YouTube into TikTok too. And did so. And I have no idea if that actually is like working out for them. I'm sure their viewership metrics are good. But I know like monetarily things are worse. But it's Google, they don't give a shit as much. At least about the money. As long as, you know, investors are throwing goofy amounts of cash at them, they're fine with whatever. I only got a blue item, but I think that's equipment. So, Apothecary's Flask and Spike Pauldrons, which is very good. We like that one a lot, and we get a wand, which we don't care about, but that's okay. There's nothing else on the map. Nothing else on the map. Dungeon 1. Cool. Nope, can't go through there. Which direction am I going? Let's go down and around. But so, as part of it, you might have seen this video going around kind of talking about why YouTube's been feeling worse. Is that, like, if you look at the YouTube homepage, there's only, like, 3 horizontal format videos at the top. Previously, it was, like, 5 per row, and now they've made them bigger and fewer. And so what that's done is it means that, you know, previously where my videos were still competing with, you know, 4 other videos, now they're only competing with 2, and if they don't make the cut, they just fall right off. You take less damage. Warcry Battle, this one's good, but let's go for just the raw damage reduction, just as a, like, precautionary measure. The last couple levels of this can be a little punchy. And so what this has meant is that previously, like, when one of my videos was put up on YouTube, originally it would just show up in people's, like, search results, and that was it. You know, nothing else needed to be done. Coiled Serpent seems pretty good. But it would show up in people's subfeed, and would get, you know, promoted to my subscribers. People would watch it, move on, rinse, repeat. And then if I wanted more viewers, well, they would just slowly find my series based on, like, search results. It was a comfortable system. It worked great, and actually, like, had my channel growing year over year by, like, massive amounts. Like, my channel was doing extremely well up until about I'm going to say like 2018 or 2022, somewhere in there. That's when things started getting worse. And so that kind of pushed me out of the classic Let's Play format and more towards like the standalone one-off videos. The problem is, as much as I like doing those, if I'm doing 1 to 2 one-off videos per day, that's like... Oh, I can open that door for some reason. Why would I be in here? Yeah, there's nothing. Strange. Let's see. The problem with the one-off video format is that I would have to cover roughly 365 to what, 730 games per year, rather than just like do a series on whatever games, you know, came out that look good. And so while that is still extremely doable, you know, I'm not going to discount that. Ow. I think that got the door open. Luckily, I can just walk through this and not care. A spider web. That's one I don't benefit from. Is that something? No. Kind of looked like it. But yeah, so previously I would just do a series on whatever game, you know, had come out that looked cool and just move on. Some I wouldn't finish. I always feel kind of bad about that. And there's quite a number of series that I'd like to go back and finish. Frankly, Ruina being chief among them. So I can choose any number of gifts. This gives me Shadow Curse, but it's still kind of good. Sure. So Shadow Curse specifically makes it so I take more damage, but it does get cleared. So it's kind of a trade-off. Oh, yeah, we have at least a secret. And there's our evasion. Do I have another one? If we do, it's not visible. So I'm going to just continue on. Oh, more Shadow Curse. So what do we want? Spending mana conjures a meteor. That's okay. Spell power per Shadow Curse. I'm just going to grab those two. Yeah, because that is going to increase the amount of damage I'm taking, but it's a big power boost, so it's kind of worth it. But yeah, so the problem with, like, I can probably come up with a good 700, or not 700. I could easily come up with 365 games per year. You know, a mixture of new games and kind of old beloved ones. Or games that have gotten big updates over the last couple of years, stuff like that. Like, that's doable. Once you start getting up into the 700 range, is a little tougher. The problem is YouTube is still also constantly pushing for, like, a slow increase in performance. So, like, back in the day, when I put out a video and it had, like, a 4% click-through ratio, effectively 4% of the people that saw the video suggested and clicked on the video, that was considered good back in the day. And, you know, I was able to sustain the channel with that. Now, 6% is considered middle of the road, which doesn't seem like much, but that's still like a 50% increase in, like, people see this video and click on it. And so the demands to reach that point are much higher than they used to be, as YouTubers have gotten genuinely better at making, like, thumbnails and catchy titles and whatnot. And, like, YouTubers have always been increasingly good at this sort of thing, and the meta changes from year over year. You know, it used to be the YouTube face where you, like, kind of make, like, a bewildered, shocked expression that makes you look extremely dumb, that I think AI is, like, latched onto extremely hard recently. That and kind of the weird shouting face that they tend to use. Anyway. You know, the problem with this, like, ooh, Markham's Mace is extremely good. That just is extra resources per, or extra damage per, I think, relic I have. Which means that now I'm going to be hitting for a couple hundred damage per swing. I mean, I already was, but now it's even more. Yeah, the full Markham set is usually a guarantee to do absurdly well in this game. Anywho. So the problem with all of this is that it's slowly pushing me further and further into kind of becoming the YouTuber I don't want to be, which is, you know, heavy focus on like clickbait, heavy focus on YouTuber face, heavy focus on one-off content, and never, ever, ever finishing any video games that I ever start, which sucks so hard. I miss finishing video games. It got to the point over the last couple of years that I was like intentionally taking time off just so I could play games to completion for my own sake. Which, I mean, like, I should be doing anyway, but it was one of those where it's like, it is actually a little difficult to not record things. So, say I'm playing a really good game that I like. Let's see. Okay, some of these might actually be good. No, they're all terrible. So once you've started doing like streams or let's plays of games, it's legitimately kind of hard to stop yourself from wanting to do that perpetually. So like anytime there's a good game, you're like, oh, I would like to stream through this someday somehow. And so the last couple of years I've been trying various ways to like figure out how I can do full playthroughs of games still. So at least for a time, let's figure this out for a second. Increase damage to enemies based on their missing health. Oh, that's not me, that's them. That's extremely good, actually. Oh, we have this whole top right area. That's fine. Do I see any secrets as I go by? Is the other question. Because I should be going out of my way to snag those, if I see any. I don't think so. And once again, if I miss anything, so be it. Let's see. But like, streaming and recording a game is fun. It's why I usually don't play video games for myself anymore. Just on my own, because like, I cooked my brain I streamed too many games to the point where I can no longer enjoy games without streaming them. It's baffling. But is reality for me, I guess. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, if there's a secret on this level, it's not in a spot that I've spotted, or I've already got it. I have no idea. Onwards. Time for the dungeon boss. I like this boss. Then again, like, I genuinely like pretty much every boss in this game. They actually did a really good job with them. It does help that they die in, like, literal seconds because I'm so strong. Okay, nothing in there. Got a button there. Gets me access to that. We get Trader's Coin, the blueprint. Which I think lets me spend points to, like, boost these things. I think I can also, like, save them. I forget. It's been a little bit. Okay. What was I going to say about any of these things? Anyway, yeah, trying to find ways to do Let's Plays. Ooh, there's the parry bonus. What? Okay. That was very strange looking. Extra health, physical damage. And then Spider Caves. Delve into the Spider Caves to hunt down and destroy the Spider Queen. Awards, eye level 15 epic main hand equipment. Yes. So that's one of the things that they've added. They now have randomized dungeons that you can go to. And the randomized dungeons have purple equipment. Normally the game, I think, kind of caps out at blues, or at least it used to. Things have changed in my absence. Let's see, armor penetration. Let's go for second wind, max that out. And so, like, I was trying various things. So, for people watching on this channel, you might have seen that I had, like, a dredge playthrough on the YouTube stream. Same thing with Wall World. When Wall World had originally, the first Wall World had come out, I'd streamed a playthrough on that on YouTube. And those did extremely well. It was like 70,000 for the first episode and then like 30, 40,000 on every subsequent one. So I was like, oh, okay. You know, maybe streaming on YouTube works. And then I started streaming other games and it's just like the viewership plummeted because YouTube stopped pushing streams. Thanks, YouTube. And so it's kind of been that like really frustrating push and pull for me for a very long time now, where here's the things that I really desperately want to do or need to do for like my own mental health or personal enjoyment, or even like professional development. I don't know if professional development is exactly the phrase I'd use here, but you know, if I want to further my YouTube career or do the things that I aspire to do, I have to do X, Y, and Z. So one of the things I wanted to do was like maybe do some game reviews, like just slightly here and there, for games that I think are truly special. And boy, the one video I did bombed so hard, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work, and haven't done another one since. Similarly, I tried to do the same thing with tabletop RPGs, and you know, if you've been following the channel long enough, I did like an old Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition slash like Starfinder campaign that was, I'm not going to say pretty popular back in the day, but like it got a lot of views comparatively. Unfortunately, it never finished. Through, I'm going to say, no fault of my own. But let's see. You know, I've been wanting to do tabletop RPGs again. And so I'd done a couple of videos for Monster of the Week rather than Dungeons & Dragons. And boy, let me tell you, if you haven't seen or heard that I did that tabletop RPG episode, that's because YouTube took it out back and shot it to death. I mean, I'm being a little hyperbolic here, but it was one of those where like it got 1,000 views or something. It was dismal. And so it's like, okay, so I can't upload tabletop RPGs to this channel anymore. I can't upload series to this channel anymore. Because YouTube is just going to kind of kill them. And some amount of this is like a mixture of dead subs and the algorithm doing other things. You know, I've had this channel for, it's going to be 13 years in September. Like that's a long time for any YouTube channel to be running. Most YouTubers don't make it past the first couple months, let alone the first couple of years, let alone a decade. Like there's only a handful of us that have been around that long. Let's see. Wow, this was nothing up here. Luckily, I've got plenty of regen, and I'm tanky. Ooh, that's not the right button. I also have, like, my health potions that I'm just not using. Let's see. Oh, was that a... This is. Ah, and they did make it so secrets do not show up. Mana pickup gain? Yeah, so... you actually have to be pretty close to the section of the wall where a secret is, I think, to see it on the map, at least on the quick map. Maybe the bigger one, this is less of the case. That hurt. Cleansing Cloak of Wrath. Yeah, I can still heal myself a lot of HP. If that's the way I came in, I'm just going to keep an eye on the map as I explore around. But yeah, so it's just been this kind of like slightly frustrating push and pull of like, here's the things that I really want to be working on, but YouTube just doesn't currently support that kind of like behavior or plan or content style or format or whatever. If I was like really mercenary, what I would do is probably just change things at the drop of the hat whenever they do like a major algorithm switch. I switch gears and start pursuing whatever that thing is. So it's like, oh, shorts are in right now. Let's be a big shorts channel. Oh, shorts are out. It's live streams again. You know, switch to that. I can't do that. I don't want to say I'm that much of a dinosaur so much as just like, I actually value the things that I'm making. Even if it is, yes, just me playing a video game and kind of yakking over it. There is a craft to that. Like, it's not easy to do good live commentary. I remember once being in a YouTube video. It was like a video call with like a bunch of other creators, and we were all recording together. We were playing Don't Starve together, and this is like a long time ago, but one of the guys I was recording with, I don't think this ever hit YouTube for reasons I'm going to talk about in a second. But one of the guys I was recording with, oh, do I want to? Yeah, let's just get rid of some of my Shadow Curse. Oh, that was smooth. So what do we get? Mighty Longbow, Vulnerability. Ow. Yeah, one of the guys had just hit 1 million million subs on YouTube, like, bona fide big channel, even compared to me right now, though not that much bigger. I think at this point he's got like 3 or 4 million. But we were recording Don't Starve just because it would be fun and maybe do a series on it, who knows. And I realized this guy could not carry on a conversation. Oh, let's take a look at this. How far away do I have to be? Okay, so you have to be pretty close to be able to see the secret on the minimap. Red Dragon Scale. Yo, we do want the next one. Spell Power per Vitality is the spell Life Leech is also very good, though not as amazing on this character. But yeah, could not carry on a conversation, could not do solo commentary for the life of him. It was all just kind of like wait for a specific moment to say the exact thing that they needed so that when it came time to, like, you know, release the video, or like edit the video down and release it, they'd have like a bunch of memeable moments of like, whoa, this crazy thing is happening. And then they go back to being like the quietest person in the group. And it was really uneven because, like, on a personal level, I want to be able to like carry on a conversation with folks. I want everything to be, I'd say, roughly about the same level of like quality the whole way through. And so for me, that kind of content format would drive me insane. And I think that's still kind of let's be honest, I think people like that sort of thing, short bursts of excitement rather than like a long-term commitment. That hurts a little, but it's fine. I am a tanky boy. I can eat that damage. Let's see. But yeah, that kind of content format, I think is still king just because, like, it makes for really easy and shareable videos with good engagement. A longer, like, a commitment. Like, this run is, I think we have 2 more regions after this one. Cumulative, like, 3, maybe 4 floors, tops. And like, that's roughly an hour and a half worth of stuff packed into the game, or hour and a half worth of a video. Like, that's almost an old movie, and so that's kind of a commitment for some people. I'm more here to kind of hang out with you as you're like dozing off, going to bed, or as you're doing work or something, rather than like short shareable videos. And I recognize that, like, I'm never going to be hyper popular like some of these YouTubers are. But I think trying to do that exact format would drive me mad, just because I want something to kind of sink my teeth into, and trying to, I don't know, I feel like it also kind of poisons you, like interacting with these people off stream and off camera. There's always that kind of division between the people who actually like cared about YouTube as a like, hey, I'm a performer, I'm doing this thing, and people who cared about YouTube as a, boy, this is a great way to make a ton of money. Of course, you know, it still very much is one of those that it is a job. You have to treat it as such, and you have to think about the mercenary bits, the making money, the getting enough views to sustain yourself and whatnot. And that is like a legitimate and consistent concern for, I think, a lot of folks, me included. But some of the people I interacted with, like, truly were just trying to find ways of making the most of it, rather than paying any attention to, like, the craft of it anymore. A good example of this was, like, back during the NFT era. And, like, a number of them were seriously discussing starting an NFT line for themselves as YouTubers to try and, like, make a quick buck before the whole thing fell apart. And, like, none of them were true believers. It was all just like, yeah, we know this is a giant scam, but think of how much money our fans might be willing to spend on us for this. And I was just like, I think I'm going to check out on this group and never interact with them again. And I think like a year or two later, they kicked me out of their Discord for inactivity. Or other reasons, I have no idea. Axes now return to you after a period. That's kind of good. I do like the weapon and skill crit though, because we kind of want to get that up, so I'm actually stacking a decent chunk of crit. The axes returning to me would be good if I was actually built around the idea of using axes, but I'm not. Okay, looks like we leveled up again. Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been looking for the secrets. It's probably a lot easier with a group of friends to kind of keep an eye out. There's only a handful of spots that could be looking at this. There's one. And that's the one I'm looking for anyway. Usually if there are two secrets, one of the two is like an item and one of the two is a like a relic. Items are good, but generally you get the best equipment from bosses. At least from my experience. And then I recognize I'm putting myself on a pedestal with some of this, you know, claiming that I am somehow an auteur of Let's Plays, which is very silly. Like, this is content, no matter how much I, like, try and doll it up, that it is ultimately just a guy talking over a video game that somebody else made. That's why I want to get into, like, tabletop RPGs, because at least that I own. I have creative ownership of it, even if it is somebody else's, like, originating project. Chaos Orb. Spell hits have a chance to do extra stuff. Cool. Okay. So I'm just going to scoot through over here. If there's a secret, it's going to be like here-ish, maybe. There might have been one over there, but there aren't a whole lot of spots for secrets on this map. And since we found the one that we kind of need, I'm not going to be looking too hard at it. Alright, it's these guys. At least I can kind of parry the frontal hits, which is good. Yeah, they're really not able to do damage to me. That's extremely nice. The other guy? Okay, the other guy didn't die. Scroll of Earthquake? Sure. Hatchet of Corrosion? Also sure. I wasn't sure if that was one of those where you could kind of Ornstein and Smo them. Take one out and... take one out and... Ow. This is the area where we start actually taking damage. Yeah, take one out and then finish off the other. Oh, that's a secret. That's a sneaky spot for a secret, too. I'm not used to them being in corners. Anyway, so the whole premise of this is, like, a main reason why I want to work on... Rather than try and put all of my eggs in one basket, despite the fact that, you know, YouTube, at least for a while, was trying to say, like, no, put everything on one channel, it'll be fine, right? And then I would, and it would fail. And it was like, hey, this isn't working. I don't think I want any of these. Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with what I've got. Let's see. But yeah, I had a manager on YouTube for a while who was like very much trying to push like, no. Putting everything on the same channel is actually totally fine. You know, won't impact your channel in the slightest. And like every time I would, it just failed. I was like, I don't know if this is the case. But it did kind of feel like working with YouTube, there was a very strong feeling of like, ooh. Symbol of Rejuvenation. I think that was giving me extra Shadow Curse. Yep. Like, a little. But it was a very strong feeling of them trying to push whatever their, like, newest trend chasing feature, as opposed to, like, actually doing anything special. Or, not special. Rather than actually trying to make my channel, like, successful, it was more just like, hey, you know, we're pushing Stadia right now. Become a Stadia partner. Okay. Hey, we want feedback for Stadia. Okay. I got feedback for Stadia. Make it a thing. Don't just kind of like promise this thing and then don't do anything special with it. And then I played exactly one Stadia game because that was the only one I had access to. Thanks. They had other Stadia games. It was just like, hey, do you want to like stream this other random game that you already own? No, why? This was the fundamental problem with Stadia. It could have been great for some people. What they should have had for Stadia was straight up just like a handheld console. Size of a, like, handheld console the size and general shape of like a PSP Vita, rather than their dumb controller or anything like that. Just said like, hey, you want to play your, wow, this is an awesome loot room. Heal 25% of the mana you spend, 10 mana regen. Yersh. But like, I would have gone bananas for a small handheld that could... Okay, that hurt a bit, and then obviously this is giving me Yersh. Yeah, that does hurt. Well, it's okay, we have potions. And that's with gentle traps on, but I should note, like... I've reduced trap damage by half and almost died there. So traps be spookin'. I don't think the lightning enemies are quite as bad, which is good. Let's see. What was I gonna say about any of these things? I don't know. There's a lot of things that could have made Stadia work, but ultimately they were expecting people to be like, oh, we don't own a computer. We'll gladly pay a subscription fee to your streaming service. No. You can't Netflix video games. It just doesn't work that way. Maybe like X number of years from now when owning a computer is like not feasible because they've managed to drive the price up that high. But at that point, I think most people would just stick to old hardware and emulate old games rather than like pay out the nose for streaming a subscription service for video games. That's my assumption. Anywho. But yeah, main goal kind of, oh boy. Main goal kind of at the moment is just work up kind of a couple of channels based on my general interests rather than stick to one. Because that way if like any channel is currently doing not so great, I can kind of pivot and focus on the ones that are. Not like drop the ones that are underperforming, but just like not stress about it. Because the last couple of years I've been definitely stressing about it in a bad way. Let's see. Less damage taken? Yeah. Yeah, because I want to be reasonably durable here. So I can eat hits without having to worry about just getting insta-gibbed. Okay. Got them all. Oh, there's experience at the end. And if there's another secret here, did not find it. And don't care that much. Yeah, I think I've got enough time on this run. Just barely, but hey. And like, after spending kind of the last year prepping for these things, I'm finally getting to the point where I'm like, yeah, I can kind of confidently start releasing them. Because the last thing I wanted to do was like start some of these projects and then lose steam almost immediately. I'd rather kind of lock myself in by having like a huge backlog. It's like, if I ever write a book, I'm writing the whole damn book before I put it up. Because I noticed some people talking about this on social media. It was like, start project, talk about projects, think about project, and then off to the side there was like a fourth thing that was like finish project, but it had cyclical arrows, but skipping the finished project stage. And I feel like this is one of those things that I'm like super guilty of. I think everybody is the real answer. In a large part just because, oh god. If I had a range... Well, I guess I do have a ranged weapon. It's fine. I don't need to break those. Yeah, I'm super guilty of this whole, like, talk about a project I'm excited about, but not actually, like, follow through on finishing it. The thing is, this is, like, actually a human psychological issue. That if you're working on something you're really excited about, and you're working on, your brain literally interprets you thinking about this thing. Ooh. Chance on credit, drop a symbol that gives spell crit chance. Focus crystal, spell hits. No, let's go for zeal. But your brain will literally give you the same rewards. Ooh. Go for the armor penetration. The explosions are kind of nice, but I don't need it that bad. Oh, there's a secret there that I missed. What was I going to say about these things? Okay, right. Ice to weapon damage? Sure. So, talking about a project that you have not, that you're working on, actually gives you the same degree of, like, dopamine reward range use that actually working on or finishing the project would. So you can puff up a project that you haven't finished over and over and over again. And eventually lose steam on it because you've literally tapped out all of the, like, good feelings you could have for the project, leaving yourself with, I mean, functionally nothing but disappointment. That you haven't finished it yet. And that's how often with, like, big projects you end up kind of psyching yourself, literally psyching yourself out of finishing them. Obviously, I'm not an expert in this specific thing. I could be only partially correct here. Okay, combine 2. Weapon crit chance is very good. I'm just mostly looking to see if I have any good sets that I want. Nope. Let's grab the Whetstone and the Ring of Mana. Not that we need the Ring of Mana particularly. It's mostly just to boost up that regen bonus. Just that little bit more. Let's see. So, like, there's probably a lot more at play about this, and I might be somewhat paraphrasing this whole condition and situation. But it's why I'm trying to get to the point where before I even release any of the series I do, unless it's like a multiplayer thing I'm doing with friends, in which one I don't have as much of a choice, or if it's like immeasurably long. So like Planet Crafter, I've been doing a series on Planet Crafter for the last 2 months now. 2 months? Just a month. Before that, it was Pacific Drive. But Planet Crafter is so dang long that there was no hope that I was going to pre-record the whole dang thing before, you know, having to upload it, because I only have so many videos to put up on YouTube. But that was also a game that I'm largely committed to finishing. I don't know if I'm going to commit to finishing all of the DLC, but the rest of it is at least doable. Let's see. But all the other series that I want to work on for that channel, I pretty much will not talk about and will not upload until I'm done with them, to kind of force myself into that position where I have to reckon with the, you know, the psychological element of, ooh, probably want to grab the Headhunter's contract, because I have 15 Shadow Curse. It's okay. But I don't think it's going to make, like, a huge difference stat-wise. Okay. Grab everything. Grab everything. Holy smokes, that's a lot of dudes. That's less dudes. And yeah, all that parry and evasion is making those lightning guys not instantly delete me, presumably. Maybe they got nerfed. Those guys used to be extremely dangerous to be around, and that is not as much the case anymore, which is a relief. I don't think I've ever seen a secret on a diagonal. Oh, we never got this blue chest. I should go grab that. Yeah, whatever Shadow Curse I pick up isn't really that big of a deal. I'm going to pick up so much more by slow walking it. Are we good? I think we're good. Time to go fight a boss. Okay. Ooh, Serpent's Demise takes a smidge. But after this, it's just one level and it's a quick one. At least I remember it being quick. I see their heads. Come at me. I'm bored. I need something to smack. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know how durable these heads are. I also do not know if I'm hitting them correctly. Okay, now I'm hitting them. It really helps when there's two of them next to each other. There we go. Yeah, this is part of the reason why I haven't been talking about my tabletop RPG stuff too much. Rather than just the fact that, yes, I'm working on it. Because I'm trying very hard not to psych myself out of it. Working on tabletop RPGs has always been, like, the hard thing for me. Not specifically because I find tabletop RPGs themselves particularly difficult. Well, no, I do. The main problem really centers around the fact that I draw every single asset. And, oh boy, that takes a long time. Because that's the maps, that's the characters, that's the environmental objects, that's everything. And that very quickly turns into just like an insane amount of work overall. Let's see. And like I have a lot of fun doing it, but it is one of those that it means that I need to be like maximum motivated at all times, otherwise I just like lose steam. There's the secret. Let's pop that open early. And there's the quiver, which is the thing that I need anyway. I'm really not using the shield bash much at all here, which I feel kind of bad about. It is what it is. I think it's a good skill. Genuinely quite helpful. Heck of a lot of enemies in here. Luckily, between the shield and all the durability perks I've kind of stacked on myself, they're not too threatening. I think that's just a bunch of mana, which is not really relevant to me. I've got crazy mana regen. There we go. Let's see, what was I going to say about any of these things? I don't know. Mostly just the, like, it's fun working on stuff other than just one-off impressions videos. Though, obviously, I'm still very much doing that. Like, I think this channel will always remain a, like, hey, this is a cool game, you should remember it. Or you should check this out, or, hey, you know, this was a cool game. You know, I don't see people talking about it. I should bring it back up again. I'd done a video on Kunitsugami specifically, which was like a weirdo Capcom like tower defense-y game that I actually really liked. I thought that was extremely good. But as part of it, I called it underrated, and somebody was like, it's not underrated, it has good reviews, and the answer is yes, it does, but it didn't have enough. At least not enough for Capcom to like sign it off as like a game that they want to continue to develop, presumably, or a game series. It's a game that would have been like extremely popular back on the like PS3 era, maybe, I don't know. I think it's one of those games that would have been a cult classic on the from the PS3 era, and will just become a cult classic nowadays, but probably with less fanfare, just because there's so many freaking games coming out all the time. And, like, that is legitimately a huge issue for the games industry in general. And so, one of the reasons why I had switched to the more one-off format is because I was actually feeling guilty that I was passing on so many games. There's a YouTuber streamer that I follow called Casey Explosion, who also does, like, a lot of, you know, indie game coverage and promotion and whatnot. And she will frequently post about a game that she was sent a key for but had to reject because she didn't have time for it. Which, on a personal level, like, I take a key even if I'm not going to cover the game, because there's no guarantee I might turn around, you know, 3-5 years down the line and be like, oh, you know what? That game looks really cool. I've got time for it now. Obviously, it's not the most useful thing for the developers, but still. Anyway, how was it going with this? I don't know, just the... Oh, there's an imp. Oh, we just passed him, so I can just come back for that. Let's see. Let's just go for the killing spree. Grab this real quick. Imp gives me a bunch of stone, sure. There's another level up. Yeah, things are actually working out immeasurably well for this run. Last time I did this, I was struggling, but it was also like a from level 1 run, and that's always so much harder. Let's see, so what was I going to say about any of these things? Yeah, just the idea of, like, not having enough time or energy to cover a cool game just because it didn't fit in the schedule. I always felt kind of bad about that because there's so many developers that, like, I love their games, and I want more people to know about them, that I'd much rather, like, only do surface level coverage of their games, just in case I can, like, help somebody else find their new game of the year, if that makes sense. That, I don't know, maybe it's kind of one of the things that you run into when you're, as you get older, is that, like, it is harder to find new favorite games. So for me, some of my favorite games are, like, almost a decade or 2 decades old at this point, and there's less of that feeling of, like, you know, a new game comes out and I'm going to make my personality about this game. Like, Undertale came out and became this, like, huge internet sensation, and I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, that was pretty good. I still think it's very good, but I'm, like, not obsessed with it like some folks are. And I recognize that that's not just a getting old thing, that is just, like, also a personal flavor thing, but I don't know, I just don't find as many games are, like, holding me in the same way that they used to. Like, I used to mainline games. What's a good example of this? Something that I played obsessively when I was younger. I mean, Pokemon's a good example. You know, back in the day, like, when Pokemon Sapphire launched, I was, like, playing that. We were out at a juggling comedy show that my parents had brought us to, and it was torrentially raining, and I was playing Pokemon Sapphire, even though the Game Boy itself was fogging up super hard and could barely see what I was doing. And, you know, then once the rain had stopped and the show had started, we were, you know, sitting in our chairs watching the show, and I was furiously playing Pokemon because I wanted to keep playing Pokemon. You know, the juggling comedy show was actually quite funny, and I should, I'd actually love to sit down and see if I can find, like, it's the Flying Karamazov Brothers, which I think is, like, a somewhat famous act. There's not, like, actually Karamazov Brothers anymore. At least I don't think there are. Maybe there never were. But, like, it's the name of the act in the show and whatnot. And that's a bunch of stuff. Holy shit, we came out with a ton of cash. Which is good. We need these things for a great many upgrades. Yeah, I need this stuff, but I have no idea where to get that from. Oh well, it's fine. But yeah, so I was, like, really obsessed with Pokemon Sapphire. And then I was kind of obsessed with Diamond and Pearl, and then I was okay about Pokemon Black and White. And then I just honestly haven't given a shit since X and Y. Like, Pokemon is good, and I understand that part of this is also just Pokemon as a game series has been kind of on the decline for a while. Let's see. But there's still kind of that aspect of, like, even if the modern ones were extremely good, I still think I would be kind of tepid on them just due to that, you know, getting older, getting a little bit more jaded, getting a little less interested in games, question mark. I don't know, they just don't stand out as much. Let's see, health on kill or spell cooldown. Spell cooldown is really good. I think most of this is unfortunately junk, and that's okay. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. We want that one. Yeah, I think I'm just going to sell the axe, even if it's like extremely strong and does a bunch of damage. Just, it's not worth losing that parry chance. I'll keep the bow around though. 28 strength, 48 strength. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I guess with all of this said, I guess I might as well mention that Heroes of Hammerwatch 2 is available on Steam. It's been out for a while and is still getting updates. They actually have a roadmap for 2026, which means it's probably going to get more. And I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, if you want to pick it up and play yourselves, just follow the link in the description below. You can play with more than 4 players if I remember right. It's just a quick console command to be like, hey, increase the player count. So you can bring like, I think 8 friends at least along. We've done 5 and it works great for that. And so legitimately one of the better party roguelikes out there. And the runs aren't super long, you know, about an hour and 20 minutes per, which feels pretty good to me. So anyway, I guess with all that said, if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, leave me a like. It helps more than you know. And if you want to see more rad new games every single day, then hit subscribe because I got tons to check out and show off. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.